put me to the hey everybody. So today I have some amazing guests. I am so excited, and it's, I would say, different from the average people that I have here on the podcast, but at the same time not that different, because I like to interview artists. I like to interview people who are just moving forward and following their dreams and anything that they're doing. It doesn't matter if they are doing hip hop, R&B, rap, content creation, anything like that. We're even going to have weight loss people coming in here soon. Anything that's you do that is motivating, and you are motivated. So, quick disclaimer with that note is that everything here that is said is with our own experience. Take it as you want to, nobody's telling you to do nothing. Just, listen to their experience, and, disclaimer, um forgot that legality reasons, I gotta say that. So coming to the forefront, it is Traci and her husband. Hello,
Yeah.
guys.
Hey,
Hello.
this is
I am
Cody, and I'm Tracy.
Cody Krypt, I play
ah
bass.
I just seen it too that you tagged him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I I've never seen your guys' actual like faces.
Yeah. This
I
is
was like,
we debated on what we were gonna do tonight, but this works. So
oh my gosh, I love it. So, chopping it up with who? Chopping it up with you. Chopping it up with me. Chopping it up on three, two, one. Look, it's over wrong side. It's Tracy and Cody.
Hey, what's
I
up?
know I don't have the cool buttons on here. I just started using this. We are actually live on YouTube right now, which is pretty
awesome.
cool. Um, so yeah, there's a huge thing that just happened in October, and that's kind of how I met you guys. So, you wanna tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So gosh, it was earlier this fall. We had kind of someone like I got nominated for not nominated, but entered for the fan vote piece of Iowa Music Awards Female Artist
Yes.
of the Year. And then it just kind of started trickling down from there. And we were in the midst of like knee deep in planning our Chaos for a Cause 3 concert. So it was really hectic, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but let's do the thing. And then I started doing it, and I was just really stoked about it. So and then yeah, then I eventually in October won Iowa Music Awards Female Artist of the Year, which was crazy. So
Yes. I know. I was so excited, like, when I found out like who was, being nominated, because I was like, I was like spying to see like who all the artists were gonna be. So I was like looking at all the comments and stuff, and I was like, I like this because we don't have a lot of like rock recognition besides like Slipknot. Aren't they from here?
yeah,
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they're from the Des Moines area as well?
yeah. Yep. So they're Des Moines, and we're out of the Cedar Falls area, so we're like kind of northeast part of the
Oh.
state. But yeah,
Okay, okay. See, Iowa guys, we're pretty big, and there are people here. Like, yes, there's a lot of snow right now, but like we're here too.
absolutely. It's a crazy thing. Like people, it's always like, hailed as like the flyover state, right? So people just kind of like don't a lot of big acts like tend to like avoid the state altogether, it seems. But
Right.
there's a huge amount of talent. And Iowa Music Awards was just a huge eye opener for me personally, because I'm out here like just doing our thing with the band, and I it's just like,
I
are there
love that.
anybody else that like, that are this devoted to their craft and like this passionate?
Right?
And my God, there was, man, that was wild.
I know, like before I started getting like acquainted, I guess, with more artists and stuff, I thought the same thing. I felt like a lot of people just did it for fun. I didn't know people really took it that serious. And I
Yeah.
love it. It's so
Yes.
beautiful to see everyone like, striving for what they love to do.
Absolutely.
And with the
Absolutely.
people you love. I saw your band. How many is it of you guys?
There's six of us. Yeah, yeah. It's a full roster.
I love it. Like I remember when I seen you guys come through the door, I was like, "Oh, this is what I'm talking about. This is
Yep.
exactly what an artist, a celebrity is supposed to look like."
Oh,
I
heck
love
yeah,
it.
man. Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't know what to expect when we walked through
Mhm.
that door. We're like, oh, this is a legit red carpet
Yeah.
thing.
Like, they're gonna
Yes.
think I'm weird.
We look really out
Not
of place right
even.
now.
I feel like that's exactly what you're supposed to do when you come to these types of events, because that's what you see in the Grammys. Everybody's in their stage updo. Like
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people, like personally, but once it's Iowa Music Awards, it's the stage name. It's the
Oh
stage. It's
yeah.
just
Oh,
like
absolutely.
it
Yes.
was it was so beautiful to see everyone in that like element, in their element.
Yeah, that was way cool. And like the performances and just the whole night was like, because it was like, so 2 days prior to that, we were like at Electric Park Ballroom in Waterloo, like prepping for this massive concert that we do. And then so we were
Ooh.
exhausted from that. And then we do the concert itself, which was just wild. And then the next day we had to hightail it down to Riverside to the casino to get for the Iowa Music Awards. We're just like, what is our life right now? Like, what is happening?
Slather on the war
That's
paint again, but with the
awesome.
suits
Yes,
and ties.
yes.
Yeah.
So
I
it was
That
awesome.
was the coolest part for me. It was like the face was done up, but then everybody was so like elegant, like
Yeah.
that part. I mean,
Yes.
shoot. You can even come like with, some like local designers type clothes, that'll fit your guys'
Yes.
style. Like
I was
that's my
seeing some of
idea.
that. Like I saw I can't remember who the lady was, but she was like tagging like the people that actually designed the dress and stuff. And I was like, that is
Mhm.
so cool. And they're like someone again, there's this huge talent in the state of Iowa. It's just like, oh my God. Like
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So like might as
Sometimes
well use it.
sometimes we get like stuck, in the rock scene or whatnot, and it
Mhm.
was eye opening for us. I had no idea the amount of hip hop, R&B,
Mhm.
country, clothing designers.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. Just a bunch of people doing essentially what we're doing. There's just different
Right?
shades to it. So.
Yes, and I love that so much. I actually just seen, I think his name is Jelly Roll. They're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this guy had a phenomenal speech and he does country." And I was like, "Tell me why." Oh, what was her name? I'm so bad at names. The country singer that won as well. She did a
Oh,
phenomenal
Monica.
speech. Yes.
Yes. Her speech was awesome.
I know. It was like everybody was standing ovation. Like, "Girl, did you
Yes.
you're a
Yes.
good speaker."
Yes.
Like right away. So can you guys
Absolutely.
tell me a little bit about yourselves? I guess, who are you individually, since you guys are both here, and I would love to, get Cody talking too. And how you guys got into, the band and everything.
Yeah. Do you want
May I
yeah,
start?
why don't you go ahead?
So Gravecore actually started in 2007. So we actually are just entering our 17th year together right now. Been a bunch
Wow.
of people in and out of the band over the years. Myself and then our rhythm guitar player, Scott AD. We're kind of the last two OG members. And then about 2-ish years ago, 3 years ago, Traci stepped in on vocals, and it kind of breathed fresh life into the band. And yeah, we started going again, and
Wow.
the momentum's been awesome. And then obviously, of course, with her winning the Iowa Music Award, like that was awesome. And
Yeah.
so it's definitely her award. I don't want to take away from that, but it's a feather in the cap for the band as well,
Mhm.
definitely. So, but yeah, it's kind of the gist of it. We kind of set out to do something a little bit different, kind of bring like a theatrical arena rock type thing to a club level regionally
Mm.
here in the Midwest, and just kind of been that's been the battle cry the entire time. Write cool anthemic songs and tell stories, and yeah, the visual and brand and band, and go from there. And I'm playing with a
Yes.
chip clip right now, so that came up on the camera. So all right, you
You
go.
need your
We're
fidget,
perfection.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I joined the band officially like 2.5 years ago. So we've been together. This year will be 12 years. My God, we've been like dating slash married. I guess we're married now. We've been married for a hot minute. But prior to that,
It
the
be
like how I got
happening.
into yeah how I got into like music. Like started like doing like I've really always been attached to like vocals and stuff. Of course, in high school I did play clarinet second chair. What I was a band geek,
Ooh.
but also did like choir
Oh,
stuff and did oh what was it like
State or
yeah, I was 2-time all state like for vocals or whatever, which is super cool. And then I actually went to college initially to do vocal performance because I was like, I'm gonna be an opera star. And I had like all these
OMG.
I had all these like dreams for that. And then I kind of got into that scene and it just didn't really like that didn't really mesh with my style and like my vibe per
Mhm.
se. And so and it's like 2011, I started. This was back when Craigslist was still a thing, and like people used it,
Yeah.
which I think people still do. But
Without
um,
creeps.
yeah, right. So I responded to a Craigslist ad looking for a female vocalist, and it was this group of girls up in Northeast Iowa, and they were like,
Mm.
"Hey, like, why don't you come up here and we audition?" And I was like, "Okay." So I did, and actually at the audition, this guy happened to be there, and I auditioned for the band, and then got basically a few months later moved up to the Cedar Falls, Waterloo area, and then kind of started my life up here. And anyway, I started doing the band. It was an all girl rock band. I was a vocalist for. It's called Sweet Little Sister.
Ooh.
We were together for about a year and a half to 2 years. I'm still super close with the girls that are from that band, and we played several shows throughout those years, and then eventually the band just kind of dissolved. And then I was kind of at a loss at that point in time. Like I wasn't really sure like where I wanted to go with my music because it just kind of I got burnt out on it pretty quick, and
Mhm.
so I took a break for a while, and then I think it was 2018, the Christmas of 2018, he got me a guitar, like an acoustic guitar. And he's like, "Hey, he's like, I think you should sing again." And I was like, "I don't know, man. I'm over it, dude. Like, it's
Yeah.
whatever." And he's like, "I think you should." And I was like, "Okay." Well, around that time, we had I think gosh, our first miscarriage, I think, and then
Mm.
we had a second one shortly thereafter. And I got into this really bad funk, right? So I was like pretty
Yeah.
like bummed about like life, and then so I'm a millennial. And I'm just gonna. This is all convoluted, but I
No, you're good.
I
I got ADHD. I'm keeping up.
good. So at the time, I was feeling like really down, and actually, I started to get into My Chemical Romance, which is funny because like back in high
Yes.
school, when My Chem was like obviously very popular and stuff, I wasn't
Mhm.
like really like super all about them. And then it wasn't until like my heart just broke and shattered into like a million pieces that I really just like deep dove them.
Mhm.
And at that point, that kind of inspired me to start writing songs again. And so then from there, I started doing like singer songwriter competitions with my acoustic guitar. So it was just me and an acoustic guitar, and it was kind of an interesting mix because a lot of acoustic musicians seem to be outside of like country artists, of course, but
Mhm.
a lot of acoustic singer songwriters is more like chill and kind of that chill ambiance and stuff. But like I wanted to do a different spin on it, and I wanted to do like really
Mhm.
powerful vocals and a really intense like vocal line paired with
Mhm.
acoustic guitar. And then did that for a couple years, and then eventually the singer of Gravecore, Arlie Vaughn, wanted to step down from Gravecore, and then and I came to Gravecore. So that's how that all worked.
Oh, that's awesome. So the band was already like a thing.
Absolutely, yep. Since
Oh,
2007,
okay.
they were in the Northeast. They were regional for like throughout the Midwest, right? I guess I should say we. I
Wow.
know right now, but yeah. So it's been a thing for a hot minute, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I was listening to her tell her story. She's like, "Oh, I won these awards. I did this and that," and I'm like, "I was just a little punk rock kid, could barely play an instrument, so
Yeah.
I did nothing."
You're like,
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
that's why we work though. I think
Oh,
that
see.
that helps.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I mean that's kind of how me and my husband are too. It's like when you do different things but kind of just like meet in the middle, I think that's where it's like it becomes more interesting. Then you
Yeah,
don't have
for
to be
sure.
like exactly the same or too
Yes.
different.
Yep.
I
Well,
think that's
it was fun like watching her find the character too, like where she started after I got her the acoustic guitar and she started putting songs together and kind of developing what the Traci von Krypt character was, and like watching that whole thing grow and watching her grow as a songwriter
mm,
and a singer and a performer. And it's been really cool. It's been a cool journey to be on. And then when we used to joke that the acoustic thing, because she would do the same like makeup and the blood and
mhm.
all that stuff. So we called it Gravecore Light.
It was
Gravecore
great for
lights.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gravecore Light.
Oh,
So
okay.
Instead
yeah,
of
Yeah.
the full
instead of the
thing.
full thing. And then yeah, yeah, when it was time, Arlie, our other singer, she's done backing vocals and she did a co-lead vocal on a song that actually turned out to be our biggest hit and stuff. And Arlie was like, "Hey man, I think Traci should take the spot." So we were like, "Yeah, all
And
right,
let
let's
me
do it."
tell you, taking over as a female for a well-established male vocalist, woo!
Yeah. I was
That
gonna
was
say,
interesting.
cause don't you, what is it called? Like when you yell, what is it called?
Like the screams and stuff,
Yeah, but
or
there's like a word for it. I forgot what it's called.
like a growl.
Are you talking when I get
I
chewed
know.
out at home
Oh
for
yeah,
not doing the
yeah,
dishes?
absolutely. Yes, yes.
Like the like this like I guess technically would make it screamo or like heavy metal, like the voice. Cause there's like a voice you could like sing, but
Like
what
turning
is
the
it called?
distortion on.
Or like yeah, like
The
I'm thinking growl or
like when you're
scream. There's like guttural is a term, but that's more like heavy, like hardcore metal.
I can't remember. It's gonna get to me. But there's
Oh
like
yeah, you'll wake up at like 2 in the morning and be like, "That's the word. That's the
yes. Oh
one."
my
We're
goodness.
going live again.
Let's get on right now. Just say the word and that's it. Be like, bye
Yeah,
guys.
it was interesting though, and like I was really nervous. Like, well, actually, I was nervous and I wasn't nervous. Like, I was like, I got this. But then sometimes when I would like some people actually wrote in and were like, I'm not going to come to your show because like I don't want to see a female vocalist, basically. And I was like,
Yeah.
without even giving me a chance, man. And I was like, what? So that was a bummer. But then we played our first show and like it was pretty well received. However, I kind of got like a little like, okay, I got this. And then one of our second shows, I tripped like 5 times on stage and
Oh my
I
goodness.
almost fell off.
It was
Knocked
I
the nerves.
unplugged
You
Zach.
unplugged our lead guitar
Yeah.
player. You knocked over my
Aw.
mic stand. You unplugged the
I
lighting
got a little too
box.
cocky for my
Yeah.
britches, So I was like, all right. So that
It was a
humbled me.
humbling
Yeah,
moment.
humbled me really quick.
Right,
You
But
gotta
that's
have them
true.
though.
Like we all come from somewhere. I could see myself doing that too.
yeah. Like,
I'd
you're
be
like, I
like, guys,
got this.
it was staged, okay? It was meant to happen. I
It was
want to make you guys
absolutely.
laugh.
Well,
Yes.
I think that's a big thing. Is like she'd sang for a band before, and she had done the
Mm,
acoustic thing before, but like we're a little more of a production, so there's
mm.
specific times we have to be at mic stands. There's specific times to get on the lighting boxes. Specific
Ah,
times to say
It's like
this. It's
choreographed.
all very
Yeah.
choreographed and stuff like
wow.
that, and so I think that was kind of eye opening. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Wow. I love that though. So I feel like in general, the entertainment industry is very male dominated. And it's like the fact that you were going into a band that was male dominated, I could only imagine.
Yeah.
Like it's getting more like in depth of that,
Yes.
besides it being just like the broad part of it. So I
Yes.
did have a question about your guys' makeup.
Yeah.
Do you have to shave your beard when you put your makeup on?
what?
Yeah, me or him?
No.
Nah.
Yes is the
Yeah,
I
answer.
mean,
yeah,
you're like,
but
oh
before
shoot.
yeah. Before a show, I have to shave clean, and I shave the sides of my head. I have long hair up top and stuff,
Oh, I
and
thought so, because you end up
yeah,
doing like the mohawk, right?
It's
See,
yep,
like
I
a
just
yep,
can't.
kind of comes down. So
It's like a whole different persona. I love it.
that's yeah. It's actually fun because sometimes like if we're doing like promotions, like hanging up posters and stuff,
Mm.
I'll go in person to do it, and someone will be like, "Oh, Gravecore, I love those guys. I've been going to see them for years." They have no idea I'm in Gravecore, so it's
Right.
yeah, kind of
That's
fun.
this
so
is his
So
cool.
Clark Kent versus
yeah,
Superman.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, for real. That is so true. Like, I'm over here imagining it like, wow.
Yeah.
I love it
It,
so much.
I'm just kind of
Um,
waiting for the time someone goes like, "Oh, Gravecore, I hate those guys. They suck." I'll be like, "Yeah, they're the worst, man."
just start pulling out your phone and get them,
Right?
and then make it good content.
Yeah.
So, what was my other question? So, like, do you guys use face paint or what type of makeup?
I use Fenty Beauty like crazy.
Mm.
Because I sweat, right? Like, and so I want this makeup to stay on. And so it's not necessarily face paint. So it's like foundation from Fenty and
Ah,
like the
okay.
primer and stuff. Mine takes me like I'd say full hour, like to get ready, like my hair's curly, but when I perform it, I straighten it. So like it takes me like
Mm.
3 hours or so to like go from
Oh
like
wow.
nothing to ready. But as far as the guys, they can get ready within like, 30
Half
minutes.
hour.
Even Nick can get
Of
ready like
course.
super quick. But I'm fancy, I guess. But no,
Yep. We have another female in the band as well. Like we got one, and then we were like, let's get another.
yeah,
So we have a female on
Yeah.
keys and backing
yep, Nick
vocals, Nick
Black, yep.
Black. She's awesome. So
And we
I love
so
that.
yeah, and the guys, they yeah, it's not, yeah, I don't think it's face paint. It kind of looks like it though, with the color scheme and stuff. So
she
Mm.
picked it all out and taught us how to do it.
they didn't, and it would like annoy me though, because I was like, you guys, we've done this at least 7 times now. It's primer, foundation. Like I'm like,
She
why?
also gets mad because like we'll all
That's so
share
funny.
like makeup
Oh
sponges
God,
and
that's
pencils and
disgusting.
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't do it. I'm always like worried about getting like infections or something. Like, cause that happened
Yeah.
when I was younger. Like I would like
Mm.
share like mascara and stuff. And then my optometrist is like, you can't do that because it leads to infections in my eye. So
Yeah, that's so true. Because
I
as
have
kids,
optometry.
we're all learning, so we want to do it like on our friends. So we're
yeah,
over
yeah.
here sharing everything.
And I'm like, oh yeah. So I get weird about that. But
In my defense, I grew up. Kiss is one of my favorite bands,
Yes,
so I grew up
that's what
putting
you
on
guys
Kiss
reminded
makeup.
me of.
Yeah,
thank you.
I
Oh,
grew
I
up putting
love
on
it.
Kiss makeup all the time, so it's kind of second
So you're like,
nature.
finally. So did they do makeup, like Gravecore do makeup before you were in the band?
Yeah, it's kind of been an evolution. I kind of wanted to
Oh.
do the full war paint, but
Uh-huh.
like from day one, but not everybody was on board in the original lineup. So we kind of would do like messy, dead-looking black makeup around our eyes and
Mm.
some fake blood, and then it just kind of evolved as the years went on, and then probably about 6 or 7 years ago, finally, I was just like, I'm gonna do it, and I think it's gonna get a reaction, and then the other guys will
Yeah.
jump on board, and that's
And that's
exactly
what
what happened.
Oh
happened.
So
my gosh, that's
yeah,
so cool. I love that. I love being the trendsetter. Like,
oh
I'm gonna
Yes.
do it because I like it, and if nobody
yep,
else wants to do it, they'll be like, that guitarist right there,
Yes.
he always looks bomb.
yep,
Yes.
And then
That was
everybody else
awesome.
is like, yeah, I want to do it too. I love that. You
Right.
oh,
started the trend, they hopped on the bandwagon, and now she taught y'all how to do it right.
Yes,
that's right,
exactly.
that's
And
right.
I use like, so the blood that so like I have like, this side has like three like lines. It's supposed to be like my character is this like leader of the Grave Corps, the army of the undead, right? And so
Mm,
she has like 3 lines, and it's like from like an injury. And then I have this blood, but the blood I use is like super sticky like stuff,
mm.
and that way it stays longer. But it's awesome because like as the night wears on, and that's the best part. Like this kind of makeup stresses me out more than my stage makeup, because when I'm on stage, it can just be messy. Like I'm supposed to be this crazy person,
Yeah.
I'm like murderous, like leader of this army, and so like my blood gets like more drippy and stuff, and I'm like, this is awesome, and like I'm all
Yes.
about it.
Mhm.
And then their blood is like more like liquidy or whatever than sticky, but it's fun, and I really enjoy like diving into this character, man. Like it's awesome.
When we so even from day one, we've always done blood. Like that's kind of the
Mhm.
thing. Like we do whatever we did for makeup, however little or however much, and then right before we go on stage, we go behind wherever we're playing, and we have like a thing of fake blood, and we pour it like in our hands, get our hands cupped, and then we
Ah.
throw it at each
It's like a
other
ritual that we
like a
do.
baseball, so it
Ah!
splatters, and it's kind of yeah, it's like a pre-show
That's so
ritual type
cool.
thing. Gets you pumped, lets you know it's game time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's so cool for the fact that, like, if somebody were to see it on the outside, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you see what they did?" And it's like, I love those reactions.
Yes,
And I'm
that's
so
like,
what happened.
"Yeah."
back in the day, like when we were kind of touring around and stuff, like we'd always end up doing it in back alleys, and there were some times where cops would get called because they somebody would call in because there'd be blood all over the back alley.
Yeah. They think that it's, like, for real.
Yeah, they walk in and see us, and they're like, "Oh no, these guys are just
Yeah,
weirdos."
it's just those weird kids.
Yeah,
Just
Oh,
some weird
I
kids.
love that. You just said kids, so how old are you guys?
Ugh.
So
That's why we
You
want to
don't
do
have to
full
share.
makeup.
yeah, I'm 57. No, I did that. I learned
Ooh,
that trick. I'm actually
the
126.
I'm
vampire.
32.
Yeah.
I'll be 33 this year. So
I'm
Ooh,
39, so
very nice. You guys
yep.
still look
So
young. See,
oh, thank
vampires, they're
you.
vampires, guys. Be careful.
well,
No.
that's the full war paint kind of works too, because like it keeps you looking young,
That's
right?
true. So that's helpful.
So when a band's 17 years old, it it keeps you youthful.
Right.
It probably
Absolutely.
helps too that you guys use makeup instead of face paint.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it
and
probably would
there's some
be
good products out there, but yeah, like from what I've like, and the other thing, like we pump a lot of like funds and stuff into the band, and so I have to be cognizant of like because we're going through this stuff, so I have to be like, okay, like what can we afford, like on a consistent basis and stuff
right.
like that. So there's like more like I think special effects wise, we could maybe do better
Yeah.
in that department, but as far as like what products we're using, but yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like there's more special effects makeup out there now, which that's what
Oh,
I'm
there
seeing a
is.
lot of. Yeah, that like a
Yes.
lot of actual makeup brands are getting into
Yes.
theatrical makeup more, and I love
They
it.
are.
I'm like
Yes, it's way fun.
even I have a palette of face paint because my kids like to mess with it, or for Halloween,
Oh,
I freaking
fun.
like to go all out and we go crazy. And so that's why I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yes.
face paint would be cool.
Yes.
there you go.
Yes.
So how would you say, or what would you say your style of music is? Is it what you play? Like what you listen to all the time? Is it what you sing? Is it what you play? Or is it something different?
Yeah.
We kind of use a broad term to describe the music, which is just horror rock. But really, I'm one of the primary songwriters for the band, and my influences are kind of all over the place. My big hitters are like Kiss and the Misfits. So you have like the theatrical arena rock, you have the punk rock. But a good song's a good song, right?
Mhm.
I also love like Prince. I listen to a lot
Mm.
of Prince.
Ooh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I listen to there's a country artist named Shooter Jennings. I listen to a lot of his music. He's a great songwriter. But I also love, like Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Slayer. So, I tend to skew towards something that will put on a show and write a good song. Like they understand the
Mm.
50-50 balance of the entire thing. So we always just try to we keep it on brand with the horror topic. Just because that's lyrically what I like to write about. I like to tell stories and kind of always aspired to be a comic book artist or write
Ooh.
movies, movie scripts and something like that. So every one of our songs kind of has a story behind it, and then where musically where it goes, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I used to kind of write things. And I'd be like, oh, well, that doesn't really work for Gravecore. I'll save it for something else down the road.
Mm.
And then one day I just kind of was like, but why? Like, I mean, Gravecore can be anything that I want it to be, right?
Right.
So why not? So I wrote like a 50s doo-wop style song.
So
Ooh.
funny.
And I was it started a song I was writing for her and I. I was gonna do it just like as a
He
song.
wrote me a song.
Yeah.
Isn't
That's
that so
so
sweet of
cute.
him?
Yeah, like it's about
I
a serial killer and a vampire that fall in love and are
When he pitched this to me, I was like, what? Like I didn't get it. And he's like playing. I'm like, no, he's like, no, it's gonna be great. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But
I
then
judged him like I judged him, man. And I shouldn't have, because it's
well,
like
Yeah.
huge.
I didn't know if anyone would like it, and so I brought it to the band
Mm.
finally because I was like, "What do you guys think of this? Is this something you're
Mhm.
into?" And then JJ Wolf, our drummer, and Scott AD, rhythm guitar player, were like, "Dude, we have to do this," and I was like, "All right, I guess we'll do it." And so we put it out, and I didn't really expect much reaction out of it, and it's
Mhm.
our biggest hit. Like it's got
I love
thousands and
that.
thousands and thousands of
It's called Blood
streams.
Drops. Check it
Yeah,
out when you
it's
have
I know,
time.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, "Wait, what the heck was I doing today? I should have been just listening to everything."
yes.
Yeah, it's
I
funny
get like
too. We have a lot of people like messages. Their kids like love the song, and so they're like they're sending us
oh
videos of their kids singing
gosh.
it. It
Here,
Well,
just
let's see
cracks
if
me
you guys
up.
can hear it. Is this one it?
Yeah, that's
yep.
it.
So far, so good. I like it. I like that soulfulness that you
Yeah.
started it off with.
So
It
that's
sounds
our
good.
original singer, Arlie, and that's the first thing that she did in an official capacity with us. So
It's like a
they
Ooh.
do
duet.
like a duet on the song, and yeah, it's got a pretty big
Yeah.
chorus to it. It's catchy, but the lyric is please be my Valentine. I'll bleed you dry tonight. So it's yeah, but like people
It sounds so pretty though.
people just hear that
Right?
first line and then they stop listening. Apparently, I don't know. So
Yeah, they're like their kids are singing it. I'm just like, okay, yeah. But
yeah,
it's I love it. It's so fun, and especially this time of year. It's like kind of like because it's our Valentine's song, right?
Right.
So it's a great song for this time
and
of
you
year.
can buy official Gravecore
You
Valentines.
can. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so like the people on the band like make them your
Yeah.
Valentine or
So it started when I was doing my acoustic sets. I started doing like I got into like graphic design type stuff, and I
mm,
started designing these Valentines for myself. And then when I joined Gravecore, I was like, well, we should probably have Gravecore ones, right? So now they're like each individual Valentines are collectible to an extent, and it's each
ah,
member, and then it's a different song lyric. So and I toss them out during when we play it live and stuff. So
that's
if you're
so
the lucky
cool.
one to get it, it's exciting.
Right, so they're cards, like Valentine cards.
They're about like, yep, they're about a card. It's about like
It's
five
like
by
a 5 by
seven.
7.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we also have trading cards too, which
Ah.
is different.
Yeah,
But
you get like Gravecore baseball card, trading card
yeah.
style
Oh my
thing.
goodness, that's so cool. I'm
Yeah.
loving this. You guys are like, how do you say it? So creative.
Thanks.
Like
Yeah.
I
We
love
we
that.
take a lot of pride in that. And, like with our merch display, we have two fantastic merch girls that like run our stuff, Keisha Chaos and Kayla AD, and they do great work, and they make this sweet display every time we play out, and it's super, it's like it.
It's just like us. It's got like a backdrop that's blood splattered, and
Yeah.
it's got like flashing lights, and
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah,
I
we have.
have
It's
to
a
come
huge
to a
team
show.
effort.
What the
Oh,
You
heck?
actually, February 10th, we're going to be in Cedar Rapids. So if you're
Let
available on
me
February 10th, come out. We're at CSPS. So
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down right now as we speak. I might have seen it.
yeah, it's called My
CSPS.
Bloody Valentine is the show. There's
Ah!
quite a few
That's
different
so
acts on it. So I know Dark Agenda is one of them, Fish Bait, uh, oh gosh, Abstract Forms, and
Pagliacci.
Pagliacci. So yeah, quite a few different acts, and yeah, so we'll be there, and so yeah, come out because it'll be super fun. I promise.
that seems really, really fun. I've never been to anything live, like, of
Really?
rock. Like, I've been
Oh,
to, just, like, smaller shows of, like, when people are playing instruments, just what was it? I don't even know what to call it.
you
Like,
know what? I tell you what, I've never actually been to a live like rap or R&B concert. So
so we gotta
you come to
switch.
ours. Yes, I'm saying you come to ours, and then I'll go. You tell me which one I should go to.
Ooh,
So
that's a
I feel
good
like you would
idea.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I do.
You're my
That actually sounds like
connection.
right? Each other's
And
connection. Because
we're
if I like it, I might keep going.
Yes.
and we're actually we're putting on a full production, like Halloween
Yeah.
size show production for this as well. A lot of times throughout the year when we play shows, we have to play smaller venues, and we don't get to bring like we have giant backdrops like you see behind us,
Mm,
and the lights and the boxes and the drum risers and all that stuff, and we don't get to always
wow.
use that stuff throughout the year. So very rare early year full show. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
that seems so fun. Oh my
And it's
goodness.
all
I need
ages too.
even better, like we could come and then we're gonna do all of our faces.
See,
Like
and there's a
that would be
costume
so
contest, I think,
sick.
at this one.
yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of
Ooh.
fun.
So what is your style of music? Like, is it what
Yeah,
you sing or what do you like
I
listening to?
I think it's a little bit of everything. It kind of depends on the day. Like lately, so I'm big into yoga. I'm in the middle of a yoga challenge for the month of
Ooh.
January, which is doing yoga every single day. And during in my yoga, it's like it has like meditation music, right? So like lately, I've been just jamming out to meditation music. So just really chill, like synth stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Binaural beats.
but yeah.
And then
And
other than that, it's all
yeah,
wasp,
right.
right?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's all lost. No, and I'd say yeah, largely basically like when I kind of got into like back, I guess I've been into music my whole life, but I was raised on country music, right? So I was raised on like classics like, Johnny Cash, George Strait, Reba, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Even I
as
know
I
them.
got yeah,
I don't
yes,
know
yes.
country.
Yes, and then as I got older, because I was from a small town in southeast Iowa, and like kind of hit the pop punk like emo like music kind of started coming into the fold, and I like Fall Out Boy, I was really into that. But I was also like one day I discovered Vixen, and Vixen is an all girl rock band from like the
Mm.
80s. And I was like, what is this? And I was like hooked, right? And so then that kind of took me down, and like the Runaways, of course, and like Joan Jett, Lita Ford, got into that. And then eventually, I kind of already said this, but I got into my chem, right? And then so through like Cody, getting into like Motley, he introduced me to so much cool music. And that's the thing about like relationships and stuff. Like you
Yeah.
can like learn so much from each other. And he had just opened up a huge window or door for me as far as my musical tastes go. And then like Murder Dolls are a huge influence now. Misfits, gosh,
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper, yeah. Also, but like in this moment, I like Maria Brink is fantastic, and Hailstorm, Lizzie Hale too is like one like top notch. She's one of my idols, man. And so it'd be great like to meet her someday, but I would totally like
Right.
fangirl. But yeah, like basically anytime there's a female involved, I was like, whoa. And then obviously like my chem and gosh, I know I'm missing some, but
There's
yeah.
one female artist that I can't remember her name, or there's like a band. It's called like not rigging. What do you the I'm still trying to figure out what that word is.
Oh
Not
yeah.
not the death growl. There's like this other word, but it's pretty much like the same thing.
Okay.
Riping, I have something like that.
Okay. I don't
I don't
know. I
know.
feel like
I
I know
can't
what
think.
it is, and I can't think of the word. We're gonna think of
Uh,
it though. I
right?
just
I'm
know
like, ugh, it's gonna be the death of me. I'm gonna text you later. Like, this is the word.
it.
What was what? See, I'm so like bad at names. Her name starts with the J, Junie, Juvie. She's like from Russia or something.
Oh.
I can't remember, but
Are
she's
you
a
thinking of
female.
Ginger?
Ginger,
Yeah.
Ginger,
Yes. Yes. So she does like
her.
really intense, like guttural, like stuff, which is
Yes,
awesome. And
yes.
it's a little different. Like, so I like my vocals are. It's more like I like kind of like 80 like how heavy metal. I don't know how to describe what I do.
It's like kind of
Mm,
screamy, but it's like powerhouse
Yeah,
stuff.
powerhouse, I'd
mm.
say. So it's like a
I
lot of like, so I do a lot of breathing exercises too with my
Like
yoga
if
and
Wednesday
stuff.
13 and Sebastian Bach somehow
Yeah.
became one.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me
Sure.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Skid Row. Skid Row's a huge influence, man. Like, there's a song called Monkey Business, and that was like when we would do karaoke at the bars, like when
All
we
the time.
still drank and stuff. That song like spoke to my soul because it starts off and it's like, wow, like right out the gates, you know? And like, man,
oh.
that just gets me fired up.
See, I love Evanescence for the strong like vocals.
Yeah.
For that, like bring me to
Yes.
life. That's me doing karaoke, and I'm like, okay, take a deep breath.
Let's
Like
go.
right before I know where I'm gonna need it, and I'm like,
Yes.
ah.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, growing up, Amy Lee was everywhere when I was, like, in my, like,
Mm,
adolescence and stuff, and that's when I stumbled upon Hailstorm, so, like, Lizzie Hale kinda deviated from that, so, like, Amy Lee has very pretty melodic vocals, which are
mm,
fantastic, and Lizzie Hale has more of this, like, kinda like Sebastian Bach, like, kind of powerhouse style, and I remember when I was introduced to that, like, I was just like, "What is this?" Like, so it just kind of open my horizons, like, this doesn't all have to be the same, like you can like still like have a really
mm.
fantastic like product. It just about being yourself, I think, is kind of what it all ties back to.
Yes,
But yeah.
that's so true. Cause even then, for years, I thought I couldn't sing, and this whole time, it's just cause I didn't. I wanted my voice to be like other people.
Yes.
Until,
Yes.
like, somebody was
Mhm.
telling me, like, "No, you just, like, sound like this person." I was like, "Hmm, that's probably why I thought she could never sing."
Yeah, and that's it. It's like you can be inspired by something, but I feel that like what the most important thing is finding your own sound and like
Yeah.
singing this like whatever's in your soul. And like my character of like TVK Tracy von Krypt, it's like it's all of like every like thing that like just angers me, and like trauma and like just like all that
Mhm.
stuff just builds up, man. And then it just like comes out, and it's so therapeutic. I cannot explain to you how cathartic it is for me when I get
Wow,
on stage. And so
yes.
this is a real thing. Like, I honest to God, I seriously like black out sometimes on stage because like I just go into this other plane of existence, and I just like push this thing out. And I think that's what's like important, is to remember, like, when it comes to singing, and depending on like whatever you're doing it for, it's like that soul has to come from somewhere, right? And that heart has to come from somewhere,
Yes.
and that then ties into your voice and what product you come
You
out.
have to be authentic, and
Yeah,
you have to believe in what you're doing, because if you don't believe in it, nobody else is going
exactly,
to.
exactly.
That's kind of what I
So
was
yeah.
going or I was thinking about when you were saying that you had written this song, but you kind of felt some type of way about it. So then when you present it to other people, they're feeling some type of way because they're feeling what you're feeling. And so
Mhm.
you like get that confidence, be like, you know what? We're gonna do this anyways. And then
Yes,
Yep.
look
yes,
at the
exactly,
beauty. I think
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
so cool. And like right now when you were saying that, I was like getting like the chills. I was like, ah, because being around a lot of artists, whatever they do, anything that they're like, whatever genre of music that they're doing, whether it's, anything that they're moving forward with, it's like the same thing. They just always say like they believe in themselves, and then they that honestly, I lost my train of thought because I heard my kid screaming. I was like, wait, what was I saying? See, squirrel. I be
Yeah,
having squirrel
I feel
moments.
you.
Let me
Yeah,
try to take it out.
I think, yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's all about that being authentic to who you are, and then that translates
Mhm.
to your art. So, and that's because, especially in today's world with like content creation and just the amount of like stuff that is out there to see, I feel like
Right.
it can feel like it's getting lost in the mix because you're trying to replicate something that already exists. But I think
Mm,
the important thing is pushing out something that is true to you and who
right.
you are. Yeah, now I lost my train of thought.
Right? No, 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 no. I like going me piggybacking off of that. That is so true because everyone has there's like an easier outlet nowadays.
Yeah.
So it could seem, copied or let's see
Duplicated.
words. I can't do words
Words
today.
are hard. Words are hard.
And having that inspiration, or maybe you did literally think of the thought by yourself in your head, and then when you look it up,
Mhm,
you're like, oh, wait, it already exists. Who
mhm.
cares? Do it.
Yeah.
Do it and be you when you're
And do it
doing
your way.
it.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the
That's
day, you're still you. Like,
Exactly.
that's one of my favorite things about this band is I find it hard, and other people when they talk about it, it seems like you can't quite put your finger. Like sometimes you hear a band and you're like, oh yeah, I love those guys. They sound like this.
Mhm.
Like you really
mm,
can't. And one of my big things is I feel like we wear our influences on our sleeves, right? Like you can see like a little bit of the Kiss, or you can see a little bit of the
mm,
Misfits, or a little bit of the My Chem, or a little bit of the Skid Row, but like none of it defines us, right?
Mhm.
Like it's in there, it's in the mix. You can hear a bit of it, but it's not a defining thing. Like
mm-hmm.
I always feel like we're very uniquely our own thing. So
Like you hear the inspiration, but it's not
mhm.
necessarily like, oh, they're trying to be like so and so. And
Yep.
I
Right.
think that's where it comes from being authentic, because you were inspired by these people. So of course you're going to sound like them, but it doesn't mean you want to replicate
Mm-hmm.
literally exactly what they
100%.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
and one of my favorite things about the band too is we have 6 members. It's a very diverse musical tastes within the band.
mm,
Because really, if you get 4 guys in the band that all love Metallica, what do you think your
mhm.
band's gonna sound like, right?
Right.
But like my rhythm guitar player, he hates Kiss. Like he does not like them at all. And
He's gonna
stuff like
watch this and be like, I don't hate them.
yeah, but
Don't say that.
but I'm not the world's biggest Metallica guy, and he's a massive
Mm,
Metallica guy, and but like because of that, like you get the different shades within the band.
It's
Right.
beautiful, man.
Our new lead guitar player, one of his favorite bands is Journey,
Yeah.
like, which, obviously legendary pop band, like,
Mhm.
and he definitely brings that ear for melody to the
Mhm.
table. And I don't know, it's cool. I wouldn't want to be in a band where everybody all liked the same thing. It
Right.
just makes it
Yeah.
interesting. So,
Exactly. Like we were saying a little bit earlier about relationships. See, relationships, even platonic
Yes,
relationships, even business relationships, it's so good to bring different things to the table. And it's
absolutely.
like, honestly, I feel like I'd get bored if like
Oh
all
yeah.
my friends were the same.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
absolutely.
I feel like, I don't know, because sometimes, I mean, I guess Mean Girls is out, like out now, but like, to me it's just like being in high school and stuff, like how there's different cliques and like everybody likes the same thing, and I'm just like, I like being a floater.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with being an outcast because
Yes.
I like everything that everybody's doing.
Yes, exactly.
So where are you
No, I
guys
agree.
originally from?
So I'm originally from a town called Tipton, Iowa, which is
Mm,
just 30 minutes east of Iowa City, give or take. So
okay.
that's, it was a town about 3,000 people, and I graduated with like 60 some people. And I know, like, when I moved up here, I like some people I would like talk to, like, I went to school, like my class was like 500 people. I was like, that was my whole school. It was one of those things being in Iowa. Yeah.
Right.
So that was wild.
Yeah, I'm from originally from a town that has less than 2,000 people.
Mm,
So like my graduating class was 52 people. So yeah, it was very small.
right. That's what I
And
was
I,
gonna
I also
say.
went to school in the 90s where it was not cool to like stuff like Motley Crue and Kiss, but that's what I loved. So
Yep.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't. 'Cause,
Oh
like,
yeah.
now when you look back, it seems like it was cool, like, if you look at The Breakfast Club, it seemed like people liked
Yeah.
that. So that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So it's kind of like it's
Grunge was really
mhm,
the kind of at the forefront of rock music at that
mhm,
Mm.
point. And then like pop stuff had
mhm.
moved in,
Oh,
through like TRL and MTV and stuff. So yeah, yeah, being a boy that just wanted to wear makeup was not very cool.
It reminds me a lot.
oh,
Have you seen
okay.
Stranger Things? I assume.
Yes,
I feel like everyone
uh-huh.
has. So you know
My
Eddie.
kids watch it over and over and over. I can't stop watching
Yes,
it.
it's great. So like Eddie from Stranger Things, like his with like he's obviously like the metalhead and stuff like that, but like got like made fun of and stuff like that in school and just like relentlessly because of like his style and his musical taste and stuff like
Mm.
that. In my head, that's kind of what I equate his like experience with, and I'm just like that sucks because like
But I wasn't nearly as cool as him. So I don't know. Let's
Aw.
put that out there.
but like it's just to have that like set in you at such an early age, it sucks, but in the end it ended up coming like full circle because like now you're at this point where you're putting out this like content and people are like really into it, and that's a super cool like full circle story and full circle moment, man.
Yeah,
You know what I
that
mean? So
is. I think
Yeah, it's
that part is cool because I actually come across of a lot of people like that. Like when you start talking about your background and like how you grew up, most people we're outcasts. And it's like,
mhm.
yeah, because you had such a creative mind. The way that a child usually expresses that is kind of weird to other kids. But you're
Right.
like, I don't care.
Like this is me, this is who I am. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
actually kind of funny because we ended up moving back to my hometown that I grew up in a few years ago, and now we're at a place because we get like a lot of play through like Rock 108, which is biggest
Mm.
active rock station in the state
Mhm.
and stuff, which is very cool. But people know who we are. So sometimes I'm in my pajamas and I run to the grocery store and I get stopped by teenagers that are like, "Oh, I love this, blah blah blah," and
And I'm like, where is my milk that I sent you to the store for 30 minutes ago? Where is it? That's what I
It's a meet
say.
and greet.
yeah, yeah.
No, it's been a crazy thing, man. And it's like it's cool because I know like prior to like me like taking over and stuff, like they were kind of ready to like be done because at that time that was like 15 years, right? 15 or 14, something like that.
Right before the
That's a long time because
Wow.
it's like you're doing this stuff consistently and you're booking shows and you're creating merch and you're just hustling for 15 years, man. And it wears on you, dude. Because like
Mhm.
this shit is not like it's not for the faint of heart. Because it's like you wake up and sometimes shit works out. It's super awesome. Like most of the time it does, I suppose. And then other times though, it really sucks. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
Like when you're in the midst of like planning like a massive thing, you're just like, I'm never doing this again. This is exhausting. But then the product comes out and you're just like, okay, let's do, I'm ready for the next one, you know? And it was nice, like after coming into the band, like it felt like the morale and stuff kind of got up again, because like it kind of breathed new life into it, I suppose, in the sense that like they were just fired up again. And that was cool to see because I've been a part like behind the scenes for about 10 years at that point, and I saw like the hustle that they put into it, but I did see them like it wears on you over time. And so they
Yeah.
kind of they got more pep in their step eventually, which was really cool to be a part of. So
That is so cool, and I feel uh, like, technically, that's why I say I like change, because it's like we always need that little, like, pep, here and there,
yeah.
especially because life happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does.
And then in
Yes.
your artistry, side of life, you either use that as, your muse, or sometimes it could really take a toll on you because you need that creative mind, and sometimes it kind of shuts that part off.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah, we had been going for 15 years, and I mean, we started out pretty strong, like 2007 and 8, 9. We were signed to a small label out in New Jersey, and we toured
mm,
around regionally around the Midwest, and we're like building up a good following, and it was awesome. And then we had a snafu with a manager that kind of ruined everything, and the band went on hiatus for a little bit, and that was about the time that her and I met. And then just a couple months into dating, a couple of the guys were like, should we fire up the old gravecore machine again? And then kind
eee.
of
And
went.
bro, it's a machine, man. Like there's a lot of shit behind the scenes.
Yeah, we actually turned
That's
down
so
like
cool.
75% of things that were offered, probably.
Mhm.
Like,
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah.
See, a lot like, that's really the cool thing about independent artists is that so like, now it's trending. So many people rather be independent artists because
Hmm.
you have more control of your
Oh,
image. You
absolutely.
have,
mhm.
you could be you, and it's like, yeah, it does suck because you have to grind harder,
Hmm. Hmm.
but at least you're doing your thing, you know?
Hmm.
And
On your
I
own
just
terms, yeah.
yes, and it's like you don't like me, I don't really like being told what to do, really. And
Same.
it's
uh,
I'm like, I don't
yeah.
know if it's because like I'm a girl or like do I just like being a free bird? Like
Yeah.
Band meetings are super fun because if like we're trying to come to a consensus on something, like we'll talk in the room and then we leave the room, but I still have to live with it. And if she doesn't agree with me, then my life's
I
a living hell for the
yeah.
next week. So
right.
they all get to forget about it and go home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
What are your signs?
So I'm a Taurus.
I'm a
Okay.
Leo.
So
Okay.
he doesn't that make
I
sense? That
see
makes
that.
sense, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
you
see the
bet you know. Yeah.
fire.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I
It's a lot of we're very passionate, but like we're both very
mhm,
like big personalities. And so it's
mhm.
just like a lot of this.
That's what I was
But
about to
like
do. It's like
but
I
yeah,
see
it's
that.
just about oh absolutely. It's about but I think at the end of the day it's about like coming back to the table and like and figuring it out, right?
Yes.
Like you want to call even like I don't know, like you want to be done with something but you can't be because like you just love that person too much, right? So it's like it's hard though because
No,
we
for
see
real.
we're working together constantly, but honestly like I wouldn't want to be with anybody else like
Mhm.
and creating this stuff because like this man like he's got it, like he's got this shit figured out, and it's like just to be able to you know, be inspired by what he does is huge to me. He's
Yeah.
ridiculous. He's too damn humble. But no,
He's being too
it's
modest. Don't listen to
yeah.
him.
It's a good partnership, and it's like it's taken us a while to like get to that point, and like being able to openly communicate about like
Mhm.
what we need. But I think that's the important thing, and it's same is true for the band because for 15 being in a band, for the record, in case anyone's ever curious, it's honest to God like being married to fucking like five different people or
I
six
can
different
only
however many are in the
imagine.
band.
'Cause you're with
Yes.
each other a lot, and then you
Yes.
have to work with each other a lot.
Yes.
It's
And
like
they're all different personalities, bro. It's like
And
it's a huge relationship.
one of the other big things about Gravecore is we've had a total of 11 people like in the band in an official capacity throughout the 17 years.
mm,
But we're on good terms with all of
Yeah.
them. So we
like you're
call
good
it no.
exes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we say that we use the term active or inactive.
Mhm.
Like no one ever really
Mm.
leaves the band because I still like writing songs with this guy, or this
Mhm.
guy
Oh,
still offers opinion on art, or this guy, comes in to sing extra vocals on the
Mhm.
recordings, or
And it's like a
so.
family. It really is. It's just like
I
a
love
big, weird,
that.
dysfunctional family.
Yeah,
So
so I still have to deal with 11 spouses. What I'm getting at.
A big old like,
yes.
big poly happy family. Yeah,
Oh,
what I
Yeah.
say, right?
absolutely. Yes.
I was like,
It's
'cause
funny though, because there's so many of us, right? And so when we took up like a whole table at Iowa Music Awards, and that was just like with
The
band
current
and significant others. Like that's all
yeah.
that was.
I know, that was so cool, like, I don't know, I feel like you guys were, like, the coolest table, but maybe it's
Oh,
because you
bless
guys
you.
were, like, so, different, and I love different, like, I feel like I'm a big weirdo, like, I love everything different, like, in no way do I ever wanna be put in a box, so when other people aren't in a box, I'm like I'm, like,
Friends.
starstruck. Yeah, really, like, "Oh my gosh, I like those people, I'm
Yes.
gonna go tell them how much I like them." And then
Yes.
I'm a weirdo, like
No, you're awesome, dude.
I can't
Thank
reiterate enough though,
you.
like the whole pageantry of that
Yeah,
entire
man.
event,
That was
like
the coolest thing I've ever been a part of.
clearly we lived to put on a spectacle, and that was a
Mhm. That was a
spectacle, right?
spectacle.
So it was
Aw.
just it was so cool. Yeah,
Yes.
we were so
Well done.
grateful.
Well done to all.
And to everyone who came to it, So
Mhm.
what's one way that you would wanna be remembered, either as an individual or, like, as a whole band? Are we getting deep?
I like
Yeah.
deep, man. I'm with you.
Uh, so one of my favorite bands is the Misfits.
Mm,
They were, I don't know if you're familiar at all, but they were a little horror punk band out of New Jersey in the late 70s, early 80s. And I mean, they were awesome. They did great, but like they were a small band, and they were, mostly known in the like tri-state area out on the East Coast. And then they broke up in 83, and then something happened and they just became this cult phenomenon. And
mhm,
like Metallica, which was the biggest rock band on earth, was wearing Misfits shirts and covering Misfits songs. Guns N' Roses, they just became this cult phenomenon. So they played their last show to like 200 kids at a VFW hall in 1983, and then when they reunited with the original members in 2016, it was to 84,000 people at
wow.
Riot Fest in Chicago.
We were there.
So that preamble is just to say like cult like success would be cool, right? Like I don't need to be famous or anything like that,
Mm,
but it would
mhm,
just be cool if we made some sort of impact that outlived us. And
mhm.
yeah, be cool. So, and I don't know. We have the people from the Misfits and other bands wearing Gravecore shirts like nowadays.
Wow,
So
That's
yes.
bananas,
yeah,
man.
That
it's
is
it's
cool.
cool for me. So
That is
I
so
think,
cool.
yeah,
yeah, that was wild when we first came across it. We're like, what?
it was pretty mind blowing to see that picture.
Right.
I was like, "There's my hero wearing a
Wearing, yeah,
Gravecore
Wow.
t-shirt." So
that was
it
wild.
was pretty nuts. So and I was
That
just like,
is
maybe that's how they felt when like Metallica wore their shirts and stuff. So
true.
so yeah,
I think for me, like how I'd want to be remembered is
as a god.
as a
No.
As you should.
no, I think like just being able to inspire, right? Like I like live to inspire people and be uplifting. I know like what we do is like obviously like we have songs about serial killers and vampires falling in
Mhm,
love, and it's like, this horror theme, but at the end of the day I hope to do some good with
mhm,
this band and through my art, because I feel like the world is already like super like dark and just like not awesome, and I just hope to inspire somebody to you know create to get, so if they do have like some inner like darkness, to put it somewhere else, right? So like putting that like getting that darkness out of them and putting it somewhere productive and somewhere like that's like helpful, whether that's, you know, in their line of work or if it's, you know, through other art, you know, however they want to go about it. But like I just really want to inspire others, and also like specifically like females, right? Like if I can like inspire, like if I like I think about like a little girl, like we have our daughter, she's 3, and if I can like inspire her to like just follow her dreams, man, and to just like live her best life and to never like give up on something that she loves, that's what matters to me.
Mm.
So
Yes.
That's one thing too, just with what you said is, there's darkness in the world, and nothing against artists that sing about real life things, but I always try to like write outlandish, crazy stories because for me, music was always escapism. So
Mm.
I try to put that back into the world too. Like we're not singing about politics or, and once
Mhm.
again, if people do that, that's awesome. Like, nothing against it by any means, but for me, it just always made more sense to be like, I don't want to think about what I saw in the news today. I would rather just hear a story about a werewolf.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
Because too, it could
yeah.
have that double innuendo. Like the
Yes,
werewolf could
absolutely.
be anything in their
It's
life
like
that they
however they interpret it, right? Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And that's
And
what's
then
that's what's so great about it, and being able to like push that along too with our performance and how we go about like pushing that out, man. Because that's where I feel like we like shine is like taking this like crazy outlandish story and then using our like skill sets to like craft it into a way that like just pushes it out and like in a I don't know, it's a super powerful way, I guess.
yes, it sounds super powerful. And just the way like I see rock, like I wouldn't say I'm into heavy metal, but at the same time I don't really know what I'm into. I'm just into whatever I'm into. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like if I like it, I like it. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess that's that genre. So I started opening up more up to it not too long ago. And I started realizing like it kind of reminded me of being in the midst of those like, in like in regular movies, how you would see the chaos, right? And there was a bunch of chaos in the background, but then you just hear like elevator music underneath. And that's how I
Yeah.
think about, like, rock music. It's like it sounds so crazy when you really listen to it, it just gives you, like, this, like, calmadity, is that a
Yeah.
word? Like
Yeah.
and you just
I
have to,
like it.
like, sit in it, and it reminds me kind of, like, of meditation, right? Because
Yeah.
in meditation, we're supposed to silence our mind, but the only way we can silence our mind is by letting the chaos run
Yeah.
through.
Absolutely. That's something. No, that's the truth, bro. Like I feel that because there's a song that we do. It's Beware the Blood Moon. It's a song about a werewolf. And that song is crazy. And from the vocals too, it's like a super like it's probably like the most intense like vocals that I do. And it's like you what am I trying to say here? The intensity of that is
Mhm.
like it becomes like simple. There's some simplicity within the
Yeah.
intensity, I suppose, is what I'm yeah. And also like and then that's usually the song where people break out into like a mosh pit or whatever, like in our set, you know. And but
Yeah.
then mosh pits are God. Have you ever like watched a mosh pit,
Not like
like a
for
circle
rock,
pit?
but like I've seen mosh pits for like there's some artists that I know they kind of go in between like rap and like rock. So it's kind of like rap rock. That's the way I like to picture. I don't really know
Yeah,
alternative rap.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they do mosh pits. They're not as aggressive, but like
Hmm.
if there's one, I'm probably
Yeah,
running the other way cuz I'm little.
yeah,
You just run in between people's legs.
yeah.
Yeah, it's real
I
like
I just always found them like fascinating to like watch. I don't really want to partake in them by any means, but like from like a distance, it's just like a crazy thing to watch because most of the time there's like an etiquette involved in that. I am a sociologist by trade, and so like I like love to see how people interact and like human behavior is like super
yes.
fascinating to me. And like just the way like it starts, and then there's like one person that starts it, right? And then like more like 4 or 5 more trickle in, and then one of them like face plants, and then the etiquette is to pick that person up, and I'm like, what a beautiful thing, because like we're listening to this like brutal music, right?
True.
And we
Uh-huh.
should be like, you'd think like from an outside perspective, like people that aren't into that be like, oh my god, like they're terrible people and like all this stuff, but it's like
Mhm.
I find that the
They're beating
most
each
like
other up.
yes, yeah, exactly. And I find that the most like generous and kind-hearted people are the ones that are like in that type of scene because they care about
Mhm.
each other and they want to pick
Yep.
that person up. It's the assholes that just like, screw around and that kind of stuff. Like there are some assholes out there for sure.
Right.
But
That's
most
in
of the time,
every
yeah.
genre. Like I say with like race too. It's like we all have our bad. So either
Yes.
genres of music, anything. And
Yes, absolutely.
that's the sad part of it because it's like when somebody does act out and you're like, you are the reason that people don't like us. Like
Right.
hip hop, whatever. Like usually
Yes.
there's like fights at, well, not usually actually. There's sometimes where I've went to like other people's shows, not like my people's shows in T1, and they're like getting into fights, and I'm like, you're
Oh
ruining it for all of
man.
us.
Yeah. Like we're just trying to have a good time, man. Like
Go in and do a mosh
yeah.
pit instead and release your
Right.
anger somewhere.
Yes.
But I
Release it.
completely understand that, and I have heard of like some of my friends that they've been in mosh pits and they say they love them. And I'm like, because I didn't know
Yeah.
about them, right? So I was one of them, like, oh my gosh, like that sounds so dangerous. And they're
Yeah.
like,
You need help.
no, you kind of just throw each other around. It's not really
It's just like throwing
aggressive.
caution to the wind, like literally, and you're just like hoping for the best. And the biggest ones that I've seen are at like Riot Fest in Chicago. Those are like we rode the rail for Riot this last Riot, or was it this last one 2 years ago? Whenever the Misfits played, we rode the rail. And prior to the Misfits set, Bad Religion was playing, and like we're like up at the front. There's like how many, like 60,000 people behind us,
Mm.
and everyone's like shoving. It's super claustrophobic, right? And
Yeah, I
like
would have been.
and that was just in Bad Religion set, so it's not even a Misfits yet. And I'm like, oh my god, it's like, honey, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I can't do it. I'm 30 some years old at this point. Like, what am I doing with my life?
As I'm just
And
deflecting
he's
crowd
like
surfers from hitting her.
6'4", and he's just like protecting me, and yeah, like all these crowd surfers and anywho, but like it was freaking nuts, man. But it's such a sense of community. At the end of the day, it's about community, man. And
Mhm.
and that's what's cool about it.
I was gonna say too, because most people I feel like that are into alternative music are the vegans that care about the community, are the, like the tree huggers, you would call.
Yeah.
I used to call myself a tree hugger. And it's like it usually is, you know, that group of people that tend to seem aggressive when they're literally the most gentle people.
Yeah. And I feel that's because there's like something happened in their life that led them to that point, that the need to like push
Mm.
that art out there, right? And so I feel like they've figured out that riddle of like, I have all this like internal angst. Where do I can't, like, I need to put it somewhere productive, and that's what they do. And I think that's fantastic. I love
Or like
that.
even listening to it resembles a lot of, things that's on within. So you listen to it for
Mhm.
comfort and that's
Yep.
your outlet, like you said,
Yep.
with even listening to it. And I
Yep.
think that's beautiful. So I think we're gonna end it right here. Something I always say is it's not a rough life, it's a rough moment. You will get
Mm.
past it and you will own it. Thanks guys for coming on here. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so we have at Gravecore on all the socials. It's GraveCorps. Gravecore at Gravecore. We have a link in bio, like on our Instagram. It just takes you to our link tree, but that'll connect you to all of our stuff. I'm at Traci Von Krypt, and then he's at Cody Krypt. But
KODIEKRYPTE.
yeah, so
E-
check us out. Check us out at Gravecore.
Ew, thank you guys so much for coming on
Oh, thank
here.
you.
Now you
Yes.
guys will see the next vlog where I go watch them perform. Where am I pointing?
Yeah, we're here.
And then
Yeah,
I'm
check us
taking her
out.
with
Check us
me.
out.
All right,
February 10th.
bye.
See you after.
All right, have a good
Yeah,
night. See
you
ya.
too.